glad they didn't let me talk after Juan because I might have been tearing up. Uh, but I wanted to, I was told that where a lot of this focus for tonight is on mentoring. And so I wanted to share some of my personal stories that have to do with mentoring and the work that I'm trying to do, working with James, working with Juan, working with a lot of other individuals. But I also wanted to bring it home, and I wanted to make sure that there was a piece that we all could take with us so that we leave here with the skills, some skills and abilities to be able to mentor right where we are. And so there's one thing I want you to keep in mind. It's actually three little things, but we'll put them all together. And when we talk about mentors, I want us to at least when you remember what I'm talking about, one thing I would hope you remember is that as mentors, I want to think about mentors. One, like James said, may we thank them. So those people who have been in our lives, who have contributed to who we are right now and the work that we're doing. Mentors, may we be them. So making sure that we have the ability and that we feel empowered and do not think that mentoring is just some far off big goal, but that it's something that we can do and be active with in our lives right now, right where we are. And then three, mentors, may we raise them. So not only being a mentor in terms of developing that relationship or thanking your mentors, but making sure that as a mentor or as an individual, you are the stone that's thrown into a pond. You are that first ripple, but you also create concentric circles and ripples that go out from you. So those are the three things I want you to remember, at least in the beginning, as I dive into this. Mentors, may we thank them, may we look back, may we be them and be present, and then may we raise them. And so for me, when I think about mentors and thanking my mentors, I have to start right here on this stage, and I have to look at Juan Martinez. Like I said, I almost teared up when he was talking, because for me, Juan has served as a massive mentor in my life and in my career working with the environment and working with different communities. Juan and his wife, Vanessa, have played a big role in my introduction. He talked about going to Wyoming as his first foray into that different planet. And I can vouch for that because I promise you when the clouds cleared and my plane was landing as I entered Wyoming for the first time, I really was not sure where I was going to go and what I was going to do or what types of things were going to attack me and eat me. But I survived. He took a picture with the bison and I was laughing because I would not have gotten that close. Not me. There's not a selfie stick that long that would allow me to take a picture with those bison. Again, I want to touch on mentoring, and I want to make sure that we don't think that it's something that's this far off, this novel idea. Mentoring is not something for those who have lived 50 years and who have done everything and who have this great resume and this life experience. Mentoring is not for those with gray hair, because honestly, I'm 26 and I'm going bald, and I don't think I'll get to gray hair to be able to mentor before that happens. So mentoring happens now. But mentors past. And for me, mentoring is that investment. When I talk about mentoring, I'm talking about enabling someone to bring their best selves towards a project or an issue. I'm talking about the investment of time, of energy, of resources to make sure that someone is able to light someone else's fire. Not to light your fire in someone else. Sometimes we can be very good at that, those of us who are older and who know better. Not lighting your fire in someone else, but lighting the fire of someone else and enabling them to bring their best self. And so that brings me to mentoring now, may we be, to the idea of may we be them. James talked about the Natural Leaders Network, and like I said, I'm 26, and working with these other millennials in the Natural Leaders Network has brought me to a different place in my career and in my life in general, because it's not mentoring where I'm a sage, like I'm a wise, know-all type of person, but it's a mentoring on a peer level, on where we're mentoring this way instead of someone looking down and teaching someone else. It's like James said, it's the calls that come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, this is happening in my life. Like, let's talk through it. It's the text messages saying like, hey, like, I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby, congratulations, let's talk about that. It's the, hey, I'm looking for a job, like, what should I do? Here's my resume. It's that working across those lines. And when I say like being a mentor, I'm not talking about going on and signing up for a program. I'm not talking about volunteering for any specific initiative, because while that is appreciated and it's well and good, sometimes people feel as if they can't mentor unless they take that step. But you have the ability to influence and impact the people right where you are. You're sitting at a table with 5 or 6 people, and the conversations that you have right now can impact them for 5 years into the future, for the rest of their life. So being cognizant, being aware of the ability that you have to have an impact on others is a very key aspect in mentoring. And so as I have taken very careful steps to make sure that I never forget the people who have brought me to this point, I know Juan and Vanessa have given me a kick in the butt a couple of times when I've needed it. There have been mentors who have supported me in terms of providing opportunities like Juan mentioned in his story. I think about mentoring and creating the new generation. So Juan talked about working himself out of a job, and another mentor of mine talks about the idea of paying it forward. And for me, when I think about mentoring, what I think about is how I can take the things and the investments that were made in me, the time, the energy, the resources, and how I can in turn multiply that and invest it in someone else. So when I think about being a mentor now, when I work to be a mentor right now, I'm thinking about there are programs like a new program that the Children in Nature Network has been a part of and is helping to start in Compton and in Alaska, called Fresh Tracks, that's bringing together youth from the Arctic Village in Alaska and Compton, bringing them together for a cultural exchange and leadership development and workforce readiness. So building a new generation of leaders by investing time, investing energy, investing resources, and giving them the opportunity to learn and be their best selves. In talking with them at an event we held in Compton last week, a lot of what I heard from them was like, man, like you came from Seattle, like just to talk to us, to like hang out with us and just, you know, get to know us. I was like, that's why we're here, because it's you who's going to drive this movement forward. So I'm talking to the Snapchat generation, I'm talking to the email generation, and I'm talking to the letters in a shoulder bag carried by horseback generation. I don't know if they're still alive, but if you're here, I'm talking to you too. This mentoring, this passing the torch forward, this paying it forward is very, very important, and it happens whether you're 18 or 48, and it's something that we should keep in mind. So again, I think time may be running out, who knows. I want to return to the idea that I brought forward at the beginning to wrap up this short address. The idea of, and if it's possible, I'd love for you all to join with me in it. And again, it's saying mentors, may we thank them. So mentors, may we thank them. We can give them a round of applause, that works. And then I think people are done, for the most part, eating dinner, so this might be a little easier. So I'd like for everyone who's committed and feels like they're able to invest time, resources, and energy in someone else, to mentor in that way, to raise a hand. So mentors, may we be them. I see a lot of hands, that works. Someone has 2 hands up, I like that. And then for this one, it's gonna require a little additional commitment. So where possible, if you can, I'd love for us to stand in unity and say and as mentors, may we raise them. So a commitment to raising the next generation of leaders, or passing the torch and moving that forward. So if you will join me, where possible, don't feel pressured. So you're standing with a group of mentors who have the power to move this forward, and it doesn't matter what, you can be seated. I don't want you to stay too long. You're standing with a group of mentors. You're standing together in solidarity. And I'm up here. Juan talked about awards that he's won and honors that he's been given. Recently, 2 weeks ago, I was named as one of outdoor industry's 30 under 30, like 30 most influential under 30. And I tried to keep talking before people start clapping, but it didn't work. And I say that, like Juan said, but not to say that I'm special, but to say that there are people who have stood behind me and pushed me to the point where I can be successful and succeed, and you have the opportunity to do the same for others. And it's this synergy of selflessness that will make this movement, this Living Futures movement, or any movement that you're involved in, continue and be relevant on into the future. Thank you and have a good night.